Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, welcome to another lecture. Now in this class we are going to begin with chapter number 9 of class 8th Nagaland Board Grammar book, which is tenses and their uses. Now as I have briefed you already, this chapter, that is the tenses and their uses, is divided into 3 parts. We've already completed the first part of it where we learned about the present tense. In this chapter, that is the second part of tenses and their uses, we shall learn about the past tense and the 4 forms of the past tense and their sentence structure as well as their uses. So without much ado, let us begin with the chapter now. So as I told you, we shall learn about the simple past tense in this chapter. So simple past tense, when I talk about the simple past tense, what is the structure of a sentence of the simple past tense? Subject plus the second form of the verb. No matter what the subject is, be it singular or plural in nature, the verb will always remain in its second form. This is very much unlike the present tense, because in that, as you all remember, with the singular subjects we had a different verb form, and with the plural subjects we have a different verb form. But when it comes to the simple past tense, it is very simple because my verb form will remain the same, no matter the subject be singular or plural. For example, he killed the snake with a stone. So second verb kill is killed. So he killed the snake with a stone. I saw him in the market yesterday. So is the second form of the verb. Our team won the match by 2 goals. So the second form of the verb along with the subject. The second type of sentences that we have are the interrogative sentences. How do we frame an interrogative sentence using the simple past tense? Did. The helping verb to be used in case of the past tense is did. And with did, you always have to remember that we use the first form verb. This is a rule. You always have to remember the first form of the verb with did. So did plus the subject plus the first form of the verb. This is something that I have told you, and please remember this. For example, did he visit you last week? I did not say did, I said visit. Did he visit you last week? Did you come yesterday? Did they meet you yesterday? So with did, we use the first form of the verb. Now the next type of sentences are the negative sentences. And how do we frame a negative sentence for the simple past tense? Subject plus did not plus the first form of the verb. As I told you, with did we shall always use the first form of the verb. For example, I did not break your slate. You did not come late yesterday. She did not go to school yesterday, and so on and so on. So with negative, we use the subject plus did plus not and the first form of the verb. The next type of sentences that we have are interrogative negative sentences. As we know, whenever we talk about the interrogative sentences, we use the helping verb in the first position. Then comes the subject. Since they are negative, so we will use not and the first form of the verb. For example, did he not break your slate? Did she not come here yesterday? Did you not see a movie last night? So like this, we frame a sentence using the interrogative negative structure of a sentence. Now we've learnt about the 4 different types of structures that we have for the past tense. What are the uses of the past tense? Let us look at that. The first use of the simple past tense is to indicate a past action or an action that has been completed already. For example, to narrate the events, actions or situations which may have happened recently. They must have completed very recently in the past. Okay, so the actions have been completed, but the completion of the actions have taken place very recently in the past. For example, I bought a car 1 month ago. 5 years ago, I left this college. She left our house only an hour ago. All these sentences talk about those actions which took place in the past but in the recent past. Okay. Now the next example, next case where we use the simple past tense is to narrate those events, actions or situations which took place in the distant past. So not only in the near past but also the distant past. For example, Ashoka was a great king. Now when we talk about the king Ashoka, obviously the existence of Ashoka dates back to a long history, right? So Ashoka was a great king. The Mongols invaded China many times. So the Mongols invading the China again is something that took place in the distant past. Next case where we use the simple past tense is to narrate those events, actions or situations which may have happened in the past. The time reference is given. So which took place in the past and the time reference is also given in the sentence. When did they exactly take place? For example, I received your letter yesterday. This is my time reference, yesterday. They left for Singapore last night. When did they leave for Singapore? Last night. It rained yesterday. When did it rain? Yesterday. So whenever the adverb of time such as yesterday, last night, 10 days back, 10 days ago, last month, last year, such adverbs of time are used, we use the simple past tense in those sentences. The next case is to narrate those events, acts or situations which have happened at a definite time. But this time is mentioned explicitly. They took place at a definite time. But what was the exact time? That has not been mentioned clearly. For example, I bought this pen from Mumbai. You know that you bought this pen from Mumbai. But when exactly did you buy it? The time duration is not clearly mentioned. So the past tense. I saw Ritik in the college. Now when you are saying that I saw him in the college, I saw him in the market, that means it has to be this morning or this evening or this afternoon. That is when you say it, right? So again, the time reference is not clearly mentioned. I have never met my grandfather. If I say this, that means that your grandfather was not alive when you were born. So again, although the time reference is not clearly stated, but it is understood in the context of the sentence. Now the next usage of the simple past tense is to talk about those activities that take place regularly or repeatedly in the past, but which no longer occurs. So those activities which took place in the past on a regular, on a repeated manner, but they no longer take place. For example, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru paid a visit to Manali every year. Now this activity would take place in the past. No longer can it happen because Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is now no more. And such events are described using the simple past tense. Or, she went to Golden Temple daily to offer the prayers. Something which took place in the past, as I told you. So she would go to the Golden Temple daily to offer her prayers. But now she does not do that. So she went. He always went to the same park every morning. Always went to the same park. He used to go, but now he no longer goes there. Now, these types of sentences in which we are talking about some action, some habit which took place in the past, which took place repeatedly in the past, there is another way of representing, of writing these sentences, and that is in the form of plus the verb. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru used to visit Manali every year. She used to go to Golden Temple daily to offer prayers. He always used to go to the same park every morning. My father used to go for a walk in the morning. Gandhiji used to spin charkha every day. I used to visit Hanuman temple regularly in my young days. So such sentences can also be written in the used to form, and that also is absolutely correct. The next usage of the simple past tense is to describe an action or an event which occupied a period of time in the past which is now ended. Something which took place in the past, but that period of the past when these actions took place has now ended. For example, she slept for 4 hours. Slept. So she was sleeping for 4 hours. Right now she is not doing so. Her duration of sleep has ended. So she slept for 4 hours. He lived in Kolkata for 5 years. So he lived in 5 years. He no longer is living. He lived in Kolkata for 5 years. He taught at the university for 4 years. So taught at the university for 4 years. No longer is he teaching now, but he used to teach at the university for 5 years. The next use of the simple past tense is to express an event which occurred at a particular point in the past. So those events which occurred at a particular point in the past are also written in the simple past tense. For example, he returned from Mumbai on Monday last. So last Monday he returned from Mumbai. The poor old woman crossed the road very carefully. So the poor old woman had a habit, or at every particular point of time, she would always cross the road very particularly, very carefully. The next type of usage that we bring the simple past tense into is when we talk about some polite inquiries, when you are inquiring something from somebody in a very polite manner. I wonder if you would lend me that magazine. And whenever you are making a polite inquiry, you are going to use verbs such as, I hope you would help me with this. I think you would lend me your pen. Or wonder. So verbs like these, and we are always going to use an auxiliary verb before our sentence in order to make it seem polite. I wonder if you would lend me the magazine. I wonder if you could lend me the magazine. So this ways we use the simple past tense. Now let us look at the exercise and the manner in which we are going to solve it. So use the verb in the simple past tense to fill in the blanks. The meeting started after the president had arrived. He decided that he would undertake the job. We wish we knew what would happen. The dog would sit if you told him to. I played chess when I was a child. So my dear students, you yourself saw how easily we took the exercises for this portion, the simple past tense. So I hope the first part of the past tense, that is the simple past tense, is clear to you all. I'm going to pause here now, and in my next lecture, I shall move ahead with the past continuous tense. So I'll see you all now in my next video. Thank you.